السلام عليكم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذرياته أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه أن آتاه الله الملك إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأت بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم. My respected elders, sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me take you to Mosul, a city that is now world renowned, a city in the east of Iraq, and it's been in the news lately for the devastation that has been caused to that city and to its place and to its people by ISIS. And of course, ISIS is a symbol of the failure of Muslim leadership and of course conspiracies of the Shias, of the Sunni extremists in Saudi, and of course the failure of the Iraqi government, and of course the failure of the world powers, really. It's a calamity and a very sad state of affairs which has left that beautiful city, devastated it, left its people psychologically disturbed. I mean, Iraq has been psychologically disturbed for nearly 30 years or plus. But now we see how it has been completely devastated. But that is the city I want you to go to. It was called Ur 4,000 years ago. And from here sprang one of the greatest personalities, one of the great prophets of all times, Sayyidina Ibrahim Khalilullah. And this was the Chaldean Empire, the time when Nimrod, or Namrud as we call him, ruled that great Babylonian and Chaldean Empire 4,000 years ago. And that was in that city of Mosul. Ibrahim grew up as a man of God. Even in his youth, he despised the idol worship. And his family was at the top of this idol industry. Okay? His family was involved in making of the idols, of wood, rock, clay, of all kinds, of all colors and all shades and all shapes, of all kinds of idols. They used to make and sell them. They lived by it. However, Ibrahim was revolted by this, and he would challenge his family and people around him. And eventually, to such an extent that he said, I must do something more drastic than just complain. So he goes to their temple and breaks down these idols, okay? Just leaving the big one, and hoping that they would reflect. What is it that they are worshipping? Statues that can't even defend themselves, statues that can't speak, gods that can't speak, gods that can't hear, gods that can't defend themselves, gods that can't do anything. Are you crazy people? What are you doing? And in fact, that is the sort of dialogue he has with his people. Okay? And the Quran tells us that people did begin to think, we're a bit foolish, aren't we? We're crazy, worshipping idols that are dead. And of course, Idol worship is crazy. It's madness. Yes, we all know that. And we don't, nowadays, nobody would do that, eh? No, that's not true. Today's man is even more crazy and mad. Yes, he has his idols. The idol of wealth, the idol of fame, the idol of celebrities, the idol of the heroin, the idol of the love of the heart. Eh? We have those idols, yes. We die for them. We live for them. We craze after them. We are willing to sacrifice anything for these idols. Yes. It's not a it's not a different. Mind, in terms of mind and psychology, it's exactly the same kind of idolatry, okay? The only difference is we don't put up a statue before which we bow. We don't have a statue of the money. We don't have a statue of our career, top of being on the summit of our career, being our God for which we live and die. Yes. Sadly, it is a new form of idolatry, a more insidious, more pervasive, and one which goes right through our lives, really. Anyway, Ibrahim was the great breaker of these idols. So here, it's interesting, the Quran mentions Salah, Aqimus Salah, 70 times. But the story and the name of Ibrahim is mentioned 73 times. Right? Ya Allah, why? Why do you want Ibrahim to be remembered? Why do you want people to read the stories of Ibrahim? Ya Allah, why? Because he stood up for Tawheed. He stood up for the oneness of God. He wanted to knock sense into people's minds. Okay? He was an inspirational in that way, and that is why the Quran praises him. In single breath, Allah puts 9 of great qualities of Ibrahim. Inna Ibrahim kana ummatan qanitan lillahi hanifa wa lam yakun minal mushrikeen. Ibrahim, Allah says, was the most obedient of our servants. Okay? He was an ummah. An exemplary model. Ummah normally means a community. Lots of people. Allah says he was a community himself. Meaning all the goodness that you will find in a community. And let me tell you, alhamdulillah, human beings, human society and human community has so much goodness in it. Okay? Yes, we see some evil. Alright? But on the whole, humanity has a lot of goodness in it. Okay? Let's be very positive about that. Okay? It's another thing that the shaitan is trying to highlight, the evil, the wretchedness, and the wrongness of humanity. But there is, inwardly, we are all hardwired actually to be good. You know what hardwired means? Neurologically, and the way our brain is made up. It's shown that it is actually wired to be good. Our thoughts, our actions, and our behavior is wired such that we are supposed to be good. It does that. That is how we are, okay? So to think that, it's natural to be evil, no. It is unnatural to be evil, okay? It is something which is out of the ordinary. You are going beyond limits when you become evil or when you do wrong. Okay? Otherwise, we are expected to be good. So here, Ibrahim Khalilullah is mentioned as Ummah. He is the exemplar par excellence. Okay? There is no one better than this man. Okay? And that is why in another place Allah says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِيهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. The same verse is used for Rasulullah in Surah Ahzab. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. In the Messenger of Allah there is a beautiful example. But also in the life of Ibrahim, Allah says, there is a beautiful example. And Rasulullah was so proud of Ibrahim because he was, after all, his great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Okay? He came from the same lineage. Okay? And he was always proud to call himself Millate Ibrahim. Millat actually means the nation, the people, the community. Also, it also means religion. Okay? Religion of Ibrahim was the religion of Islam, the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's also very interesting, this idea of the community equaling Islam. That's a fascinating idea, and what it shows is what was natural to humanity. All human beings. You don't have to argue about God. You don't have to talk about God. God is there. It was natural. It is unnatural to think otherwise. Okay? So you never thought in that way. We think. So this is why the Quran, never says, here is evidence of Allah. Here is evidence of Allah. Are you crazy? Can't you see the sun is shining? Can't you see the sun? Can't you feel the heat and the warmth of it? Can you not see the light that comes from it? What's the matter with you? This is God. So we don't talk about, there was never a dualism in this, in human life. There was never this dualism. Is there a God or not? The problem was, which God? Who is the God? And some fools made these statues and idols, okay? And Ibrahim alayhi salam came to actually challenge that. But the reason the Quran mentions the life of Ibrahim Khalilullah 73 times, more than it talks about Salah, because it is so fundamental to our way of life. I really do urge you, inshallah, my next week's Thoughtful Friday will be on the life of Ibrahim Khalilullah, based on the Quran. And as I said, there are many passages where the Quran talks about this great warrior of Allah, this great man of Allah, okay? And one story I selected was from Surah Baqarah, where Allah says, Alam tara ila alladhi hajja Ibrahim. Did you not see, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as though the Prophet was watching 4,000 years ago, It's interesting way the Quran talks. And we believe, of course, the soul of the Prophet was actually witnessing all this. For this was not a story for the Prophet ﷺ. It was something he was witnessing. He had witnessed this. Didn't you see, didn't you see that nutter who was arguing with Ibrahim Khalilullah? Did you not see that Nimrod who was arguing, debating with Ibrahim about his Lord? Okay? And what did Ibrahim say to him? Ibrahim said to him, Namrud claimed that I can give life and death to people. What can I do? Yes, I'm a king, I'm a sovereign, I'm the ruler. I can give life and death. So he crazily summons two people, two prisoners. One, he orders to be executed, beheaded. The other, he says, let him live. And he says, see, I've given life and death to two people. And Ibrahim Khalilullah says, you crazy man, that isn't, you've not given anybody a life or death, really, okay? Then Ibrahim challenges him, why don't you, my Lord brings the sun from the east, okay? يَأْتِ بِهَا مِنَ الْمَغْرِبِ. Why don't you bring the sun up from the west? فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. The Kafir was perplexed, puzzled, bewildered. He just couldn't answer that, okay? وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. And this is just one of the stories where Ibrahim was so brave, so courageous. And of course, whole of his life, he lived like that. As though the Quran is saying to the readers of the Quran, this is the example of a courageous, truthful believer. And that is why the Quran says, Inna Ibrahim kana ummatan. He exemplified all beauties, all virtues of kindness, of generosity, of courage, of devotion. This idea of qanitan. He was qanitan lillah. He was devotional to God. What does devotion mean? I use this word quite often. Devotion very simply means to actually be committed, okay, solely to the love of God. Be committed and be willing to make sacrifices for that. Okay, commitment is that. That is what a commitment is. And I hope this reminds us that, how committed are we to the deen of Allah? What sacrifices are we willing to make? What are we willing to give? When you say he's devout and devotional to somebody, it means befriends them, loves them, gives them time, gives them his resources. That is true friendship. That is true devotion. That is making sacrifices for what you believe. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ibrahim was قَانِتًا لِلَّهِ حَنِيفًا وَلَمْ يَكُ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. He was not an idolater. He wasn't a man who loved wealth. He wasn't a man of the dunya, but he was a man of Allah, and that is why he is a great example for us. And I would have loved it if you had time to talk about some of the other really moving stories from the life of this great prophet of God. And I hope, inshallah, you will read more about him in the glorious Quran. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.